Hey guys, it's Cory from Teamyts. I'm going to be starting a discussion of Steelswarms, how they work, and what tech choices to make. So, what Steelswarms are they're like monarchs. They revolve around tributing Steelswarm monsters to get their abilities. And I'll start off with the boss monster. I find him the boss monster, Steelswarm Girastag. He's a level 7, but all he does is require a tribute. One all he requires is you to tribute one Steelswarm monster to get his ability. Uh, what his ability is, when you tribute him using a Steelswarm monster, you send one card from your opponent's side of the field to the grave, and you gain 1,000. So he's allows you a lot of life point gain because the other Steelswarm tribute monsters require you to pay 1,000. So he's a good way to refill your life and just sending cards. He gets around Zen Mains and Stardust and other cards that could target if you destroy a monster. So he's really good. Next up is Steelswarm Mantis. He's a level 5. Tribute him using. If you tribute him using a Steelswarm monster, pay 1,000 to bring back one Steelswarm monster from your graveyard to the field, level 4 or lower. He's I run him at 1. He's optional, but there's a really cool combo with him with Gatekeeper. I'll explain later. The Steelswarm Moth. He's another one of the main tribute monsters you use. Tribute him using a Steelswarm monster. Pay 1,000 to return up to 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field to their hand. He's like Mobius, except they can't Starlight Road him. So he's really good. He's good for a final push if you're in those back rows or there's a Execute or Synchro on the field that's really bothering you. Just summon him and they just say bye bye. So this Steelswarm monster is Steelswarm Girastag. He's completely optional because he requires 2. He's the only one that requires 2 tributes. If you tribute him using like the other Steelswarm monsters, he gets one of 2 abilities. 1, destroy all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, or destroy all monsters on the field except for himself. Second ability is he becomes a heavy storm. So he's really good for a last push, but to me he requires too much. If you want to run him, it's up to you. And now we start on the tribute fodder of the deck. First up is Steelswarm Caller. He's a level 4, 1,700 attack, 0 defense. If you tribute a Steelswarm monster, if you tribute a Steelswarm monster while he's on the field, you're allowed to special summon a level 4 or lower Steelswarm monster from your deck to the field. So he's really good. I like having him in there. And next up, the Cyber Dragon of the deck, or he's better than Cyber Dragon because unlike Cyber Dragon, you can special summon him on the field if you control no monsters. So it doesn't matter if your opponent has a monster or not. You can special summon him, tribute to summon Girastag or Moth, and that's that. And Steelswarms get their very own Treeborn Frog, Steelswarm Scout. Like if you know what Treeborn Frog does, you can't have any spell or trap cards in the field. If you control no spell or trap cards on the field, you can special summon them from your grave. The problem is that it only activates during main phase 1, and if you do use him, you can't special summon for the rest of the turn. So you got to use him wisely, and he can only be tributed for a Steelswarm monster, and you can't synchro with him. So he's still good. He's like the main point of the deck. The point of the deck is to get him to the grave as fast as possible. And next up is Steelswarm Gatekeeper. He is level 4. He's the only Steelswarm with any defense. If you like Caller, while he's face up on the field, if you summon a tributed Steelswarm monster, allows you an extra normal summon. There's a combo with Mantis I'll get on later with that allows you to get out like 3 up to 2 Steelswarm tributed monster in one turn. And the quick play, like my favorite card of the Steelswarm deck, First Step towards Infestation. This card is very abusive in this deck. Its effect is return one face-up attributed Steelswarm monster to your hand and draw one card. If you summon a attributed Steelswarm monster and they try to effect veiler it, you can chain it, bounce it back, and you draw one card. If they try to bottomless it or deprison or mirror force, just bounce it back, draw a card, and that's that. If you want to protect your Gira Stag and they're trying to destroy it, bounce it back, you take the hit, but you can distribute them back and return it and destroy it. So it's very good and allows you to draw one. The card saved me many times when I was playing this deck. Next up is the newest Steelswarm cards that came out in the newest dual terminal. They're not playable yet, but I'll go over them. This is Steelswarm Sting. When this card you control is sent from the field to the grave, destroy one ritual, fusion, or synchro monster on the field and target it and destroy it. It's good, but if you even want to run it, I would just say side deck it, because it's only really good against heroes right now, or because I don't think there are any synchro decks that are left. So just I guess against heroes, I guess. This is Steelswarm Longhorn. He's like Kalkastag, except not as good. He has 3,000 attack. If you tribute him using, you must use 2, and if you tribute him using 2 Steelswarm monsters, you pay 1,000 to target one card in the field and destroy it. I honestly wouldn't run him. It's up to you. And this here is Steelswarm Sentinel. He's actually really good. People thought you could get his effect off a tour guy, but you can't. But what he does is, well, this card is face up in attack position. Special summon level 5 or higher monster on the field cannot activate their effects. So it's really good. I would say maybe run 1, but that's if you can get him out. This is Steelswarm Genome. He's a 2. If you tribute him, he counts as 2 tributes. So if you want to run Kalkastag or Longhorn, you would use him. I don't like Kalkastag or Longhorn, so I wouldn't use him. This is my favorite trap of the deck, Infestation Ripples. It's basically a monster reborn. You pay 500 to bring back a level 4 or lower Steelswarm monster in your graveyard and special summon it. This card is very good because you can just, if they happen to remove all your scouts or use all your cells, you can just reborn a collar or a gatekeeper and just tribute. And this is Infestation Tool. It's I wouldn't run it. But what it does is send one Steelswarm monster from your deck to the graveyard to target one face-up Steelswarm monster you control. It gains 800 attack till the end phase. All you really use it for is to send Scout to the grave. So that's all that we pulled from the dual terminal. But I'm sure there are more. I just don't know what else is in there. Next up is the tech choices. Since all Steelswarms have 0 defense except for Gatekeeper, you use Reoccurring Nightmare. It's very devastating. Like if they happen to kill all your Kalkastags or your Moths late game, just bring back Reoccurring Nightmare and just add them back to your hand. It's self-explanatory. If you thought you couldn't use 1-for-1 anymore, you're wrong. You can use it really well in this deck. You can use it to bring out Scout or Cell. I'm pretty sure you all know what 1-for-1 does, but it's just really good in this deck. And then there's good old Foolish Burial. Use it, send a Scout to the grave. Self-explanatory. You can also use Dark Grepher. If you don't know what Dark Grepher does, discard 1 dark monster in your hand to the grave to send one dark from your deck to the grave. Use it to send Scout. And Armageddon Knight, he's one that's seeing a lot of play right now. And Insectors, he can also be used in Steelswarms. Summon him, send a dark monster from your deck to the grave. And that's the rest for the tech choices. For Steelswarms, you don't run a lot of traps. So that's because of Scout. So the traps I would run would be Iran Deep Prison, Mirror Force. I'm going to run Infestation Ripples once these things become legal. They become legal once the new Hidden Arsenal comes out. I ran Glow Up Bulb before it got banned because you can synchro, or you could, because you have Mantis Mantis to summon Brio, Moth to summon Black Rose, and Gearstag to summon Stardust or Scrap Dragon. But since it's banned, you revolve around tributing anyways. I would say don't use it less as possible. Let's see, what else? What else is there to discuss? Oh yeah, the Mantis Gatekeeper combo. If I remember this combo correctly, if you have a Gatekeeper on the field, first you tribute Mantis to summon Mantis, bring back Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper effect activates, so you can normal summon an extra one, tribute Gatekeeper to summon another Mantis, summon another Gatekeeper, and tribute and summon a Moth or a Gearstag. If that's wrong, I apologize. I forget how they describe it. The combo is really hard to get out because I really don't revolve around Gatekeeper. I honestly would take him out to add a Armageddon Knight or Dark Grepher. But that's all for the discussion. I'll be discussing more about the Vers when they first come out. So this is Cory from Teamyts signing out. Like, comment, rate, subscribe.